It could be.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Oh man, how are you all? Happy what, Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday. I have to think about
Tuesday,
Yeah, I know.
August 57th.
it. You know
That's really
what?
it
Don't
is.
play. Yes, October. You got me saying out. October 29th. There we go. Almost Halloween. Thank you so much for joining us for Care 11 News at noon. We're so happy that you're here. We are officially only 1 week out from Election Day, and it marks a really important deadline. We've got what you need to know. Plus, Cece, I know you're covering the latest violent incident in St. Paul.
I am. We learned more in the past few hours about what happened before officers shot a man who they say had a gun. I'll break down the latest about the officers involved and the suspect.
And before we dig into that, let's first get a look at the weather.
Yeah, this is going to be a summer's finale, we'll say. Temperatures are quite warm at this hour. In fact, some metro locations are already knocking on the door of 70 degrees. There's a frontal system that's parked itself right on top of us, stretching from the southwest to the northeast. Notice up by St. Cloud, temperatures are noticeably cooler, only 61 degrees up there and 50s further north and west. Meanwhile, from Mankato eastward to Rochester, La Crosse, 70s to even close to 80 degrees. So some ridiculous warmth. We will once again be in the 70s today. Some parts of the state will be near 80, especially south and southeast of the Twin Cities. It's pretty dry right now. We are seeing some hazy sunshine and some showers are starting to take shape across the northern half of the state. I think today and tonight, areas in northern Minnesota, a better chance of seeing some showers. And then tomorrow, it'll be areas across southern and southeastern Minnesota. And then things get a little interesting as we head into, say, the night before Halloween. Let's take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. Filtered sunshine, again, temperatures mid to upper 70s today, close to record setting. The record for today is 78 degrees, so near record highs today. Rain chances move in tonight and once again on Wednesday. And yes, we are looking at the potential for some snowflakes mixing in with some rain showers early Halloween morning. Doesn't look like a lot's going to stick, but a lot to get to in your forecast, which includes a major cool down over the next 24 hours. Details just ahead. Alexis?
Ben, thank you. An investigation is now underway in St. Paul after police shot a man last night. They tell us the suspect was armed and pointed his gun at officers. Cece, at this point, where do things stand right now?
Yeah, a couple of updates this afternoon. All of the officers who fired their weapons are on administrative leave, and the man officer shot is in the hospital in critical condition. So let's get into what happened last night. St. Paul police tell us just before 7:45 p.m., officers responded to a shots fired call on the 400 block of Pierce Street. And when they got there, they found a man with a handgun near Snelling Avenue and Charles Avenue. Police say when officers approached the man, he put the gun to his own head and they started to negotiate with him, but he reportedly refused to drop the weapon. Instead, he started walking toward the intersection of Snelling and University Avenue. Once he got there, officers fired less lethal rounds, but that didn't work. Officers say eventually the man lifted the handgun and pointed it at law enforcement, and that's when multiple officers fired their weapons, hitting him.
I can tell you the state statute, if an officer is in fear of their life, that deadly force can be used. How that applies here would be up to the BCA, and I will leave that question to them more to answer as far as how that applied in this situation.
So, Cece, were officers wearing body cameras when all of this played out?
Yes, police say all officers at the scene were wearing body cameras. That videotape will be handed over to the Minnesota BCA. As was just mentioned, they're handling the investigation now. Also, over the past few hours, we've learned that the group Communities Against Police Brutality are demanding the immediate release of that body cam footage. So we'll keep you updated on when that footage is actually released, Alexis.
Cece, thank you. Shortly after our show, the man accused of shooting his neighbor in Minneapolis last week is expected to make his first appearance in court. As we reported, police arrested John Sawchek early yesterday morning, and the Minneapolis police chief is now ordering a full review of his department's actions after the victim and neighbors reported months of escalating violence. The city council accused MPD for allegedly failing to act. The chief called it a very high-risk situation, saying the suspect is mentally ill.
Extensive work by our officers to try and make contact, to try and bring this person into custody, and we were unsuccessful. And so in that sense, yes, we failed this victim. He should not have been shot.
The victim is now out of the hospital. A judge set Sawchek's bail at $1 million. In 1 hour, Care Minnesota will address what they say is an urgent safety need for children with autism. It follows 2 recent drowning deaths. Both happened in the last 4 months. The boys had gone missing and were later found in water near their homes. Ellie Wilson from the Autism Society of Minnesota says children with autism are especially drawn to water by the visuals and movement and by the way it makes them feel. She says data suggests Somali children are more likely to be diagnosed with autism.
Even as high, some will say, as 1 in 16, which is nearly double the rate that it is in the mainstream group. This, unfortunately, is a pattern that's very, very likely here in Minnesota.
Some ideas to improve safety are increased access to swimming lessons, signs that warn the community a child with autism lives nearby, and resources for parents so they can secure their homes. We have new details this afternoon about the heroic efforts by Robbinsdale police officers when a home caught fire over the weekend. Officers say a person called 911 Sunday night while watching their home fill with smoke on their security cameras. They told the dispatcher their 2 dogs were inside when police got there. They got permission to break the door down and the dogs ran out. Fortunately, they were not hurt. Fire crews say they were able to get the fire out before it caused major damage. Well, if you haven't made a plan for Election Day, now is the time. We are just about 1 week out. Audrey Russo brings us the timeline leading up to next Tuesday.
Is your mail-in ballot still sitting on your kitchen counter? Well, today is the day. It's the last day to get it into a mailbox. Otherwise, you're going to have to make a plan to drop it off. In Minneapolis, you can drop off mail-in ballots at the Hennepin County Government Center or early voting locations for the next 6 days. But once Election Day hits, individual polling sites will no longer accept those mail-in ballots. You'll be limited to the Voter Services Office or the Hennepin County Government Center. Now, early voting is still in full swing. Minneapolis is operating 3 permanent early voting sites, and they're supplementing them with some pop-up events. There's 4 more pop-ups on the calendar, including today's event at Fairview Park. That one goes until 6 o'clock tonight. And if you vote early here in the city, you'll be in good company. Minneapolis election officials say 42,000 people have already cast an early ballot, either absentee or in person. Back to you.
We'll make sure to join KARE 11 for live election night coverage of the races in Minnesota and all across the country. We'll be streaming all night starting at 5:30 p.m. on KARE 11 Plus with live reports, election results, and expert analysis. You can download KARE 11 Plus for free on several platforms, including Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and Apple TV.
I've got you covered on the latest consumer news, starting with new refund rules at the airport. Automatic refunds are now in effect for canceled or delayed flights, thanks to a new rule from the Department of Transportation. What it means is if your flight changes and you don't rebook it, you can automatically get your money back within 20 days. There are some parameters, though. All cancellations are covered, but domestic flight delays are only covered if it's 3 or more hours behind schedule. International flights are covered when they hit a 6-hour delay. A separate rule also mandates a fee refund if you don't get your bags by a certain time.
When an airline knows that anybody on a flight that's going to get canceled is going to get their money back, it gives them more of a reason to make the investments and the realistic schedules that prevent that from happening to you in the first place.
Passengers who use credit cards to pay can get refunds within a week. JP Morgan, the world's biggest bank, is now suing 4 customers who they say took advantage of a glitch. Earlier this year, we told you about a scheme spread over TikTok involving Chase Bank. People were depositing large checks into their own accounts and withdrawing the money before those checks could bounce. Now the company is suing 4 customers who owe a total of almost $662,000. Yikes. Well, some iPhone and iPad users can now get an update with new AI features. The latest software update comes with Apple Intelligence, the company's first set of AI tools. Some examples of the changes include a more realistic sounding Siri. Proofreading and editing features have also been improved. And now, if you're looking for a certain picture, you just need to search what someone was wearing. The download is available for the iPhone 15 Pro and up, as well as some iPads. Apple is expected to release even more features in December.